and more. It's Terry Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly sunny good morning to you. When you say sunny, man alive. It was a little crazy earlier this morning. Started off with mostly cloudy skies, a little bit of sun here and there. And then the clouds moved in, the front moved through, and we kind of got a little scared at times. John Dent, it looked a little bit here at Radio Center like we were going to have a hurricane or something here.
Yeah, they were reporting on the hurricane in the CBS report. I'm like, well, we got one of our own here, but it's passed.
Yeah, well, thank goodness we didn't get the real strong gusty winds. And unfortunately, I mean, we really didn't get a lot of rain out of this whole scenario either. No. We started the morning off quite mild. Temperatures, well into the 60s overnight last night. And now we've kind of come down just a little bit after that front move through. What do we have as far as current temperatures, John?
Right now, we're hovering right around that 70-degree mark out at the airport there at 69, but downtown Midland's at 70, and here at Radio Center, we are also at 70. That humidity's up there, though.
I'm looking at Hillsdale right now. They're at 78 degrees with partly sunny skies.
Yeah.
But then you get a little bit further south, Flint. The last time I took a look there, they were a little bit, they were still sunny, but it was 72 degrees. They were looking for some storms to move through. Howell, way down. I mean, they're looking at heavy rain as of right now. And this hour, Bad Axe had been reporting heavy rain. I think over in Michigan's Thumb, it looked like precipitation was a little bit heavier. Overall, around these parts, the Great Lakes Bay region, anywhere from 13 hundredths of an inch up to maybe a quarter of an inch, maybe. And that was about it. You didn't really see too much.
I know there were hail warnings out there. Did we see much of that?
No.
Didn't
see much of anything. Just a lot of rumbling and some lightning around. As we go through the remainder of the day, we're going to continue to see this clouds and sun conflict as we go through, with a spotty shower here and there. But for the most part, the heaviest amount of precipitation in the Great Lakes Bay region and areas to the north is gone. And whatever severe weather comes up out of this system is going to come up in southeastern parts of the lower peninsula and then down in Ohio along the Ohio River Basin. But over the last 24 hours, southeast Michigan picked up some severe weather yesterday afternoon. If you recall, at noon yesterday, we were talking about the system that was coming from the west-northwest, dropping to the southeast, and maybe we'd get a glancing blow of some precipitation. Well, that was about it. We didn't see much of anything. But the further south you got, the more concentrated the rain was, and in some cases, unofficially, more than 2 inches of rain around Ann Arbor, Saline, areas to the north, along the 96 corridor. There was some flooding down in that part of the state, and even over into the lower Thumb area as you get just a little bit further north of the Detroit region. They picked up at least an inch, if not more than that there. We did see 3/4 of an inch or so reported in the rain gauges around Owasso, Durand, in that part of the state. So the heaviest amount of precipitation yesterday appeared to be along and south the 69 corridor. And this morning, we tried to squeeze a little bit of moisture out, but for the most part, it was pretty uneventful. And really, other than a chance of a scattered shower, we're not going to see much of anything for the next several days. Matter of fact, our forecast is for mostly cloudy skies tonight. High pressure is going to settle in over the Dakotas and Minnesota, so that will drop our temperature down to 52 for a low tonight, and we will have a northwest wind. It'll feel a lot chillier than 52 degrees tonight, with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. It's going to continue to be gusty and out of the northwest tomorrow. Tomorrow we're looking at clouds, maybe a chance of a scattered shower early, but I think as we go through the day, the clearing skies will take over. 58 is our projected high, with a northwest wind gusting to 30 miles per hour tomorrow, It'll still continue to be gusty tomorrow night, right around 20, 25 gusts. Clear skies, 38 for a low in the Great Lakes Bay Area tomorrow night. Then on Friday, 64, John, mostly sunny skies. High pressure is going to be right over the state. So what that will do is cause some pretty chilly temperatures on Friday night. Once again, about 49, but nothing like what we will see on Thursday night. Incidentally, Thursday night is the autumnal equinox at 9:03. So Mother Nature is going to try to cooperate. It's not only going to be the beginning of fall, but she's going to give us some pretty fall-like weather conditions. Moving into the weekend, we're still going to be running below average on the temperatures Saturday and Sunday, mid to upper 60s. I think if we get any precipitation at all on Saturday, it will be late, more than likely Saturday night. Then into the day on Sunday, we're going to have a little bit better chance of a more overall rain shower, upper 60s for a high. Then on Monday, there might be a chance of some precipitation around, but that'll drop off. We're looking for 66 for a high, 62 for a high on Tuesday with partly cloudy skies. The below average temperature trend is going to pretty much run all of next week. But then we're going to see a big turnaround once we get into the first weekend of October, the 1st and the 2nd. Temperatures are going to be not only at normal, but more than likely above average. And that above average trend is pretty much going to take over that first full week of the month of October, but unfortunately below average on the moisture. So that in a nutshell is what it's all about. Record high in this state was set way back in 1908, 94. The record low was 32. That was set in 1956. And incidentally, John, Flint broke a record yesterday for precipitation. They broke an old record that was set back in 1971. They had just under an inch of rain at Bishop Airport.
Really?
Yeah.
And they broke that record.
That's a record.
Wow.
Yep.
That stood for that long. Huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
That was 0.79, they said, back in 1971.
Well, good for them.
Yep. So more on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by is
Cody Harris over at Star of the West. He'll get us kicked off for our market report. But first, we want to remind you our weather report today brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound-up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. It's all about risk management. It's all about getting together with the folks at the Sarr Agency and have them put a plan together for you to maximize any opportunities you might have and minimize any downswings that might be in your future. They are licensed to serve all of Michigan with both conventional and organic crop insurance. Their agents can be reached directly on their cell phones for questions or emergencies. Or you can call the office in Reese, 989-868-4722. We say good morning to Cody Harris. How's things looking, Cody?
Well, good morning, guys. Looking a little bit of a mixed bag here today after a crazy, I would say, day yesterday. And even on Monday, kind of in the opposite direction. But I got definitely a mixed bag today with some headlines coming out this afternoon as far as interest rate goes. Then some Russia rhetoric as well as kind of dominated our headlines here this morning. I'm looking at everything right now. We got cash wheat. That's up 8, 862 on the white, 812 on the red. New crop 23 wheat, that's up 1 this morning at 886 on the white, 836 on the red. Looking over at cash and new crop corn, that's down 7 at 630. And then looking over at soybeans, cash new crop soybeans are down 11 at 14.02.
So again, we're playing the political game here, huh, Cody?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some big news that came out of Russia here yesterday. I guess the big headline of that story was that it looks like some Russian-controlled parts of eastern Ukraine are looking to hold 3-day votes, kind of joining Russia starting this Friday. That's kind of maybe Moscow's latest effort to consolidate some of its hold on the territory that it took months to capture. But that in turn would mean that a Ukrainian offensive in those new, I guess, annexed areas, if it were to come to fruition, would allow Russia to claim an attack against its own territory, raising the threat of the escalation in that conflict. So that really got the market really turning yesterday. And then, in addition to that, in a televised address, Putin basically stopped short of declaring a national draft, but called for a partial mobilization, people with military experience, and then kind of accused the U.S. and EU of nuclear blackmail in that same address. So just that rhetoric right there really got the markets intrigued and kind of really heightened those tensions over there here in the short term. So that's really what kind of pulled those markets up yesterday. And you kind of see wheat maybe following along here this morning, still on that news, but maybe corn and soys maybe kind of falling back to here's some technicals as we're looking to see the Fed come out this afternoon with some interest rate news this afternoon. So that's kind of what's going on. But yeah, that whole Russia-Ukraine situation definitely dominating the the headlines here this morning.
It sure is. Cody, have a good day. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Yep, that sounds good. Appreciate it.
You bet. Cody Harris over at Star of the West. Doug Klein on tap, John?
We're going to head over and talk to Doug Klein, but first, Market Report today brought to you by Schaefer and Beerline. Are you ready to upgrade to a new Ram truck for your family farm? Now is the time to order your new Ram 1500, 2500, or 3500, so you should see the folks at Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth. They're the Great Lakes Bay certified ag dealer, and they specialize in all models of new Ram commercial trucks and vans. Ordering is the way to go. You can buy with confidence from Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth since 1852, where family and service sells cars. Also by Thumb Bank, who've been serving agriculture for over 125 years with 2 locations in Bay City, also Cass City, Caseville, Pigeon, Bad Axe, and recently in Marlette. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. Let's head over to Oppenheimer now and say good morning to Doug Klein. Doug Klein, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, getting ready for that big report, Doug?
That's kind of, I guess. 3/4 of a point, probably, maybe a point. I don't know. And then it depends on what he tacks on the end as far as rhetoric, where he's going with the next interest rate hike. The dollar is very strong. It's setting almost 111, cleared 111 earlier. So that's not really boding well for our export markets for sure. But a couple of interesting things over in Russia. The price of a flight out of Moscow, i.e. out of Dodge, has gone up exponentially. So some of the people that think they might get drafted are fleeing for safer territory. A couple of notable deaths in Russia. Anatoly Gerashenko, he fell down the stairs in the Moscow Aviation Institute. His retirement was cut short, so to speak. He didn't survive that accident. He was head of developing aerospace technology for Russia. So I guess they're probably hiring somebody new for that spot. And then Ivan Pechorin, he fell overboard on a vessel that he was chief of developing Russia's Arctic resources. So probably maybe natural gas up there in the Arctic region. So
is gravity stronger in Russia?
I don't know, but apparently 911 was unavailable to save these guys or whatever. Wow. But that's kind of interesting. Well, the Germans moved a yacht from Hamburg to Bremen, Germany, 156-meter yacht. So that's a big boat, somewhere north of $500 million in value. So it was one of the billionaires who got sanctioned. Well, he had it in his sister's name. He apparently thought that would be okay.
Oh yeah.
That's safe there. And by the way, it's 6.1 trillion. That's how much money has been lost in this debacle.
Wow.
This year. So that's a ton of dough. But anyway, here's your numbers. December corn 684 3/4, down 7 1/4. The September of 23 corn is 639, down 6 1/2. November soybeans, 1467 and 3/4, down 11. March soybeans, 1474 and 1/4, down 11 and 1/4. And November of 23 soybeans, 1387, down 4 and 3/4. The December wheat, 902 and 1/4, up 8.5. And the July of 23 wheat, 906 and 3/4, up 1 and 3/4. Crude oil, the IEA came out with some numbers, so we've got a little more build in the inventory. So 83.20 on crude, down 74 cents. Heating oil is 322.89, down 7.5 cents. Gasoline at 246 is up 1 1/4 cents. Natural gas 773 1/4, down 4 cents. So over to currencies, the Canadian dollar, unbelievable. The U.S. dollar buys you $1.34 Canadian. That's getting ugly. So that's a record low for Canada for some time. The dollar buys you 144.12 yen. Again, the yen at like a 24-year low. That's getting ugly. The euro's at 98.81. That's a new low for them. That's almost a full penny down. The dollar at 111. It's up 70 ticks. So that's getting desperately ugly. Precious metals, kind of a little bounce in gold and silver. I don't know why, really. 1675.40 on gold, up $4.30. Silver's 1945, up 27 cents. But platinum's at 920.20, down $2.60.
All righty. Thank you for the info. We appreciate it, Doug.
Okay.
Talk to you later. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. The demand for nitrogen has never been higher. Fortunately, Pivot Bio has transformed the way fertilizer is produced and used by farmers. Unlike synthetic nitrogen fertilizers, the cost of Pivot Bio Proven 40 is every bit as consistent as its performance. And since it's applied in furrow at planting, it's weatherproof. Pivot Bio Proven 40 is the only predictable weatherproof nitrogen around. Turn to a better nitrogen with Pivot Bio. Find out more by getting a hold of Don Morris at 989-239-2791 or Allie Morris, 989-780-3770. We say good morning, John, to Jerry Samolsky.
Yep, we're going to head over to Bay Landscaping and Garden Center. Jerry, it looked pretty bad out there this morning. Did we get a lot of rain?
Well, over in our neck of the woods, we did not. We got just a little less than 0.2 of an inch. So I just looked at a lawn that we're going to rework and redo, and it's dry enough after that rain to cultivate. So what that means is you're just going to want to pay attention to how much rain. I realize this storm probably went through, and some people got deluged, and other people not so much. But you got to pay attention. Just because it rained out doesn't mean you can quit watering. So 1 inch down in the soil, and it was dry. So new plants and lawns and everything else that you're establishing, this rain was nice for a bit, but don't think you can take a week off, because it didn't, for us anyway, it didn't add up.
No rest for the weary. Jerry, take care. Have a good one, okay?
I think it's wicked, Terry, and that would make sense for me. Thank you.
I'm trying to keep it nice, not wicked. That's for Halloween, okay?
Well, just call it like it is next time.
There we go. Jerry Samolsky, wicked Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Nothing wicked about this guy, though, Dennis Pennington. Other than the weather this morning, Dennis, you were, going to try to plant some wheat?
Yes. Yeah. We've got 2 of our research trial locations in, and we were going to plant at the Saginaw Valley Research and Extension Center this morning, but they've gotten about 0.4 of an inch of rain there just this morning. So it'll hold us off for a couple of days, and then we'll be able to get back in there and plant again.
A lot of guys are thinking about planting wheat right now, aren't they?
Yeah, we are beyond the fly-free date, the Hessian fly-free date, and most of the state of Michigan, our southern tier counties, is approaching that here right about now and then just in the next couple of days. So agronomically, that's usually a really good time to begin planting wheat. So, but there are some guys out there that are getting some wheat planted now.
What about some tips? What are you finding here this fall that might really work for our growers?
So we planted the site in Sanilac County over by Deckerville yesterday, and that site was the driest one that we've been to. And so we had a conversation about, what are some options if you're planting into those really extreme dry conditions. And there's a section of the thumb and even into central Michigan that's on the drought monitor, and those soils are really dry. So when you are really dry like that, you want to try to seed your wheat a little bit deeper to try to get down into some of that moisture. So that is one of the tips, certainly if you have those dry conditions. But there's other parts of the state that have, adequate soil moisture, and, they can plant at the normal, inch and a quarter depth.
All right. Good advice. Dennis, we'll talk again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Have a great day.
I will. You too. Dennis Pennington. When we return, Ed Garber from Nutrient Ag will be joining us.
How do you make the most of your land? Well, it depends who you ask. If you ask the Wrens or the Caggianos, who run with us on John Deere mowers, they'd tell you.
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
Get as much done in advance as possible.
I jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
But the Upshaws, the Hubbards, and the Allens, who work behind the wheel of John Deere compact tractors, would say,
something that's worth doing isn't always easy.
If it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
And most of all,
I'll make the earth take the shape that I want it to take.
Then there's the Nelsons and the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their Gator UTVs.
It's important to just take it one day at a time.
You can't be all working up, right?
The most fun we have on the Gator is just ripping around the property.
It's a way of life.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Contact one of Tri-County Equipment's 11 locations in Bad Axe, Birch Run, Burton, Caro, Fenton, Lapeer, Marlette, Reese, Rochester Hills, Saginaw, or Sandusky, or visit Tri-County Equipment online at tricountyequipment.com.
Along with us, Ed Garber with Nutrient Ag. John, I bet Ed dodged a couple of raindrops this morning. How about it, Ed?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, not too bad.
Good. Actually, I live over by Owasso, and we got some really good rain last night and this morning. So it was well received and needed.
Boy, I guess so. Any tips for our growers as we move into the fall harvest and planting season?
Yeah. So, I guess anybody that's heard me on here before, whether it's in the spring or the fall or the winter, I'm always talking about making a plan and sticking to your plan. I guess one tip I would have right now is, before the combine gets rolling and before you start harvesting, get out there and look around. Evaluate what that crop's looking like. How was the weed control? How was the nutrients? How'd your tissue testing go? How's your pests and how's everything looking? The fields tell the story. And once you get behind the steering wheel in the combine, you're not going to want to stop and look too close. It's hammer time then. But wheat, Dennis just mentioned wheat. A lot of areas were super dry, and this rain is real good for get some wheat seeded and get some better germination. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now.
All right, good advice. Yeah, I think we all could stand a little bit of moisture, don't you?
I sure do. I saw some social media posts last night. Kind of complaining about where's this been all season, but hey, we still need it. We'll take it.
Yes, we will. Take care, Ed. We'll be right back.
All right.
Soil prep for next year begins as soon as the harvest is over. Don't miss out on nutrients you can return to your soil. Applying a Dairy Dew compost blend accelerates the conversion of crop stubble into next year's plant food. That remaining plant material is full of nutrients you want to return to the soil. Dairy Dew blends from Morgan Composting, like K2, Gypsum Plus, and Layer Ash blend with gypsum, helps with decomposition, releasing those nutrients for next year's crops while also adding good biology and other missing nutrients to your soil. Like a lot of things right now, supplies are limited, so contact Morgan Composting to place your order for fall and lock in your price now. Crops don't wait. The seasons don't wait. You shouldn't wait. Address soil health now for better yields next year. Not sure which is the best Dairy Dew compost blend for your fields? Contact a soil health expert at Morgan Composting for a consultation and soil testing. Call today or visit dairydew.com to learn more.